All right, everybody, welcome to today's unbelievably awesome Zoom video with my good friend Roxanne Schilling with Remax Gold in Copperopolis, California. If you don't know where Copperopolis is, it's search 95228 and then buy a house from Rox, and you can come here too, right, Rox?
All right, I'm ready.
So before we get started, let me just kind of tell everybody why we're doing this and why I reached out to you. And, obviously everybody knows that we're having to deal with business a lot different now than we were. And I kind of look at it as, and maybe I'm not 100% right in this, but I kind of look at the agents divided into a couple categories. Those who are actually still working and trying to do well at this, and those who are hiding under a rock. And I don't know really how much is in between. There's probably some, but those are kind of the things that I see. And Rox, you've done a really good job here in our local community. I know that everywhere I look, I see one of your signs. I go on Facebook, I see where you've listed something else, you've gone into escrow on something else, you've closed on something else. But the interesting thing was, I noticed that it was like that all the way through this. In the very beginning, the Department of Homeland Security eventually deemed, real estate agents as essential. Some local governments didn't allow that, certain parts of the country. Michigan, their people are just going back now, but you all the way through from the beginning, even before that, ruling came about, you remain productive. And so, we were talking the other day how important it would be to have you share some things with the viewers of this video. And I, of course, I have some questions. We're not going to hide the fact that I sent you some questions right in advance.
Right.
But the reason that you're here is that not only you're successful, but you've been successful through this. When that second group of agents are the ones that I mentioned that hide under a rock and kind of wait for this thing to end. So real quick, kind of share with the viewers, who you are, a little bit more about you that I didn't share, and then let's get into some questions that might be able to help some people.
Okay. Well, my name's Roxanne, and I go by Rox with Remax. I started into real estate in 1992 with an independent company called Lake Tulloch Real Estate. It changed was taken over by Century 21 when a new broker purchased it. Then he changed to Coldwell Banker. I was at the same location for 27 years. I've been with Remax now almost exactly 1 year, and it was the best move I ever made.
Right on. So why don't you share a little bit about the area here and what makes this area maybe a little bit more unique than buying in a city like Sacramento, Denver, Detroit. What makes this area unique?
This area is unique, number one, for our lake that everyone loves to enjoy. It's peaceful here. People love the foothills. There's not as many people in this area as many other areas. It's just a gorgeous place to live and play in.
Right. And so since 1992, you've been here in this market.
Exactly. Yes.
So you've probably sold this town once or twice over, huh?
I've sold many properties many times.
I saw one come up the other day. It was like you'd sold the same property like 2 other times
Right.
in the history
Yes.
of the house. So tell everybody, Rox, how's your business right now? What's going on for you right now?
I have a steady stream of business, and actually this week my phone has been ringing off the hook.
So in the beginning, and then I'm going to go to in the beginning, I think was about March 19th, if I'm not mistaken, when the governor decided to tell everybody to go inside. And but there was a gap between March 19th and when real estate agents were deemed essential, that you remained productive when many people were just kind of waiting it out. What did you do? How did that work for you?
Well, before I answer that, I just want to say that 95% of agents, if not more, have a downtime sometime during the year, every year, whether it's in the winter time, whether it's throughout the year. We always have downtimes. Not as severe as this that we're going through, but during your downtime, you can't be negative. You can't think about the negativity. You have to be positive. So for me, what I do in downtimes, I reorganize. I start calling my past and present clients, see how they're doing, see if they need anything. I exercise at home instead of going to the gym during this time. You just keep staying positive. I was lucky because I already had several escrows going. So I was able to close those escrows out. That's pretty much what I did in the very beginning.
But I also saw that you, right in the very beginning, I saw where you had taken a couple of listings, and I'm not maybe right on the 19th, but when people were running for those rocks to hide under, I saw on Facebook that you had just taken a couple new listings. Now, those could have been pending conversations from prior to March 19th, but you took them or displayed them after March 19th. So tell me about that.
Well, the one that I'm thinking of was a lot listing. And I got a call one day from a past client, and she was with friends and they were out looking. So everything was done by phone, by DigiSign. I mean, I looked online, answered all their questions about different lots. They found one. It happened to be in my listing. And so we talked on the phone. I did just sign the contract. It was accepted, and I've closed that deal.
Yeah, right on. So let me ask you this, and this may be a little bit of a loaded question because it might be all over the board, but I know that there are many people right now still across the country trying to figure out which way is up, what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing. And I'm just curious, one of the questions I sent you, I want to ask you, how has this whole COVID-19 affected things for you?
Okay. Number one, the office being closed. I can work out of my home. I myself prefer to work at the office. So that's number one. The way we enter properties, we have to follow the guidelines. So that's another situation. And, not being able to be face to face with people. But we can overcome all of that.
Right. How about in your ability to market and generate business, whether it be a listing or work with a buyer? Because obviously the sale is the lagging indicator, right? The leading indicators are what an agent would be doing right now to continue to build their business. And so how has COVID affected how you go to market, how you do your marketing? How about that?
Well, RE/MAX has a lot of different technology, and actually I'm learning more of it now because of COVID. There's still a lot to master, but that's one thing that I would suggest for all agents is to just jump in there and learn the technology.
Kind of like this right here, huh?
Yes.
kind of like what we're doing right now. We're using Zoom, which many people didn't even know what Zoom was before this all happened, right? Many of us use like Google Hangouts and things like that. And quickly, Zoom became a real company. Somebody's going to write me a nasty letter for that. But, really, I had people want to do Zoom meetings with me before, and I'm trying to download it and everything. And it just, frankly, wasn't that simple. Now they've really come around and made it simple where people like myself can easily, tap into the technology. So obviously you could do a listing presentation like this if you wanted to. So if agents are watching, like, how do you get in front of people in markets where maybe the seller isn't comfortable, having a couple of agents in for interviews? Maybe you can do it just on here. So, overall, I know that, and again, I'm going to go back to the beginning of this of why we reached out to you, why we thought that it would be really good to do this, is that to us, to what it looked like on the outside. How about that? And I'm sure I'm wrong somewhere. All right. But to us, it looked like this did not affect your business. Okay. To us, it looked like you maintained a high level of performance. And again, I'm sure I'm wrong somewhere, but that's when I asked how it affected you and how it affected your ability to go to market. Because honestly, it's, I mean, I could go on my Facebook account right now and just probably the last few days find something positive about success in your business. So you can answer that any way you want.
Well, there are some of my clients that I would have already listed their homes and they're preferring to wait. I think that there's probably more out there that want to list. And I feel that I would have had more listings. And there are buyers that I have that either, I'm not sure if they can't get a pre-qual or they choose not to go through that route. They don't want to wear masks. So they have declined showings. So that part did affect me.
So I was wrong. Like I said, it's something affected you, even though it looked to us like you were maintaining that high level of production. You're going to have, like any agent watching this right now, they're going to have sellers that want to pull it off the market, or probably already did at this point. And then they're going to have those that go all the way through. If you think about what really happens when you get in a situation like this, where certain people aren't really wanting to list their property or sell it right now, it just makes the properties that are listed more valuable, because the law of supply and demand, obviously, if there's lower supply, that's what maintains pricing in real estate. Other than tragic things like 2008, what happened in 2008, or any other real recessionary time that real estate's affected, but supply is what maintains value or pricing. And when certain people want to hold off on listing their property, and again, maybe I'll get on my soapbox for a minute here. And if somebody's thinking about selling, they need to think about the fact that right now everybody's looking at everything for sale. Your listing will never have more viewership than it's going to have right now. And this is a time in which, the law of supply and demand says that if we take away some of the supply, the demand's going to be stronger. So, and I get, emotional reasons or maybe health reasons why somebody might wait on the backside, but business reasons, it's better to move forward.
Right.
Go ahead and list that property.
And I believe that too is the one thing we have to think about. We have to respect our clients' wishes.
Right. You mean you can't force them? You can't force them?
No, you don't want to force them. You want to keep them forever. We can educate them, right? But then it's their decision.
Certainly. And that's all I'm talking about doing is you keep them educated, and again, if it's health reasons or fear, whatever, honor it. But if somebody thinks it's going to be a better time to sell after this, I'm not sure I can support that from a business standpoint.
And two, I usually, not in this year, not what we're going through, but every year I try to get my clients that want to list earlier. Then there's so many that want to wait until April, May. And by that time, usually the market is flooded. So that goes along with what you were saying. Same thing.
Absolutely. How's inventory right now in the area?
Down.
Yeah. So down by, what do you think, from last year?
Oh, I'm not sure from last year, but right now I think we have 59 homes on the market in the 95228 zip code. And normally we have closer to 100 and sometimes up to 120.
How are values doing right now? They holding their own?
I see some price reductions. Actually, I've seen quite a few price reductions, not by a lot, but those must be sellers that really want to move it quick. Today, I looked at the hot sheet and I saw a lot of pendings throughout the county. A lot of pendings.
Well, that's good.
Yes.
Are they all yours?
No.
That would even be better, right?
We have to share.
Yeah, I know. Let me ask you this question, and think about this a little bit from a functional standpoint of how they would act throughout the day, but also how they would build their business, how they would go to market. And my next question is, what do you recommend agents do right now? Not when this passes, but today, right now. What do you recommend people do to maintain their volume, to build their business, You know, what advice, if you had 100 agents in a room right now and you were talking to them right now, today, about what to do, what would you tell them to do right now? What would that look like? What are 2 or 3 things that they should really prioritize?
I think they should, like I said before, get on the bandwagon with the technology, learn the technology, get geared up for when this is over, because when it's over, things are going to be booming. So agents shouldn't be slacking right now, and they should be calling their clients, calling past clients, checking in with them, reorganizing. If they need to reorganize, just get in gear for when it's over.
Pick up the phone.
That's right.
Pick up the phone. No, I wrote this down. They should not be slacking. Coach Rox. They should not be slacking. Back to what I said in the beginning. There are those who are working, trying to figure it out, and those who are hiding under a rock. And I think that's what you're talking about when it comes to slacking. So calling past clients, right? Calling anybody that they're currently working with, stay in contact. How often do you reach out to your past clients right now? How often do you think you talk to them?
So, I don't call them on a weekly basis or a monthly basis. I've made a list since all this has been going on, and I try to go through my database and pick out different people and check in with them. So, it could be a month, 2 months before I check back in. But it's just, I try to get a hold of somebody every day.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I get texts from you once in a while.
Yes.
You have teaser text, beautiful homes, right? Beautiful homes. Hey, you want this one? I get those. I can only pass some of them on to Raquel, by the way.
I have a couple friends of ours, and the wife told me to get her husband off of speed dial.
Oh, for properties? Yeah. I totally get it. All right, so here's the loaded question. This is you're gonna have to get your crystal ball out for this one. Because I know that there's no way to absolutely know the answer to this question. But from a producer's standpoint, what do you foresee the next 6 months to look like?
I think it's going to be fantastic, at least here in Calaveras County.
So why would it be different here than the rest of the state or country?
Well, for a lot of the places like the Bay Area, places that are so have so many people, there's a lot of people there. I've heard talk that are going to want to get the heck out of there, and they're going to want to move to some place that is more open, more laid back, more peaceful, and we've got it here.
Right, we do have it here, but in order for them to leave, they're going to have to sell that, so it's not going to be bad for real estate there too, right? They're going to have to sell something if they want to permanently leave, because they're not going to rent out those houses down there that have $7,000 payments, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we do live in a great place. We do definitely. We're very blessed, and for those of you that are watching right now, we live in the same neighborhood, community, subdivision, whatever we want to call it, and that's why I see a lot of activity that Rox is doing. And over the next 6 months, I think, again, nobody's sure what this looks like on the backside. We all have our opinions. I have my opinion. I'll tell you offline, because it has nothing to do with business. It has kind of to do with, how I think we're going to come out of this and what that's really going to look like. But, at the end of the day, here's what matters most. What matters most is we're 100% on our A game every day, right? And we don't have to wait for something to change. I've always said those who wait for circumstances to change before they take action will lose at this thing we call business, right? And because too many people are thinking like, I want to wait for this or I want to wait for that. And real estate agents that are watching this right now, you can't afford to slow down. There are transactions that are going to happen. People sometimes have to sell. People sometimes have to buy. Even that alone is a decent amount of activity, but then you find the people that are ready to, and they're not going to let something slow them down. So, the only way that an agent, the way I see it, the only way that they can absolutely fail through this time is to quit and give up, right? And as long as they keep going and keep their marketing up and reach out to their clients, and they're looking for business opportunities, they're looking for buyers, they're looking for sellers, they're just doing what they can. And that's what I meant when I said 100% on our A game every day. They're gonna make it. And you've done a really good job of staying productive through this. We see, like I said, we see your posts, we see your signs. Saw your sign the other day when we took a boat ride, that big old giant place on South Shore that you have that big banner up on.
And I'm getting another one today.
See what I'm talking about? Wait a minute. What about COVID-19? I thought the world was falling apart. You're going to get another listing today?
As soon as this is over, I'm walking to our boat. We're going over to South Shore, and I'm taking photos.
Look at that. Look at that.
Yep.
So in the middle of COVID-19, when many people are hiding, you're taking listings.
Right.
And that's the name of the game. Rox, anything you want to share before we wrap this interview up?
The only thing I would like to tell all the other agents is follow the guidelines that we have right now and stay positive and call your clients.
Right on. Follow the guidelines, stay positive, and call your clients. Well, Rox, thanks for joining. This was fun, and hopefully there's information in here that will help people to produce more and help many people to start producing again. There are a lot of people, like I said, that are hiding, and there's no reason to hide. All you have to do is look around and see that people are still making it and making it well in this business. So on that, Rox, stay on here after I cancel it. You want to say something else? You're thinking.
I was just going to say it was an honor to do this with you.
Oh, well, I appreciate it. I appreciate that very much. This is too kind of you. Tell everybody why. No, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. All right. All right. So everybody, make sure that you pass this around to your peers, whether you're in a real estate company, a title company, a mortgage company, the principles are the same. Pass it around and help others to elevate their business and their life in questionable or uncertain times like these. Thanks for joining us, and I'll see you again very soon.